The case that was heard up in Warwickshire yesterday, the Afghan asylum seekers, how they dragged a 15-year-old girl into the bushes before raping her. Initially, you were never meant to know their names, but one organisation, the Daily Mail, lodged an appeal against that, and credit to Judge Sylvia de Bertano, who agreed. So we must thank the judge for that. Then we were told, and I think this probably makes sense, we can't see the video of the ordeal this woman went through because she filmed some of it, because it could have led to mass rioting. We were also initially not to be told that they were Afghan arrivals on the small boat crossings. Been in journalism a while. Facts are quite important. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Fortunately, because of this judge allowing much of it to be heard, we can give you a better report. And here's LBC's Midlands reporter, Luke Shanahan, with all the details. Luke.
Morning, Nick. Yes, 17-year-olds Jahanzeb and Israr Niazal pleaded guilty in October to the rape of a 15-year-old girl in a park in Leamington Spa on the 10th of May. She'd been separated from her friends in Newbold Common, a country park just outside the town, when Jahanzeb dragged her off into the bushes as she shouted again and again, begging him to let go. She was able to record some video on her phone of the moment she was abducted, and in it you can hear Jahanzeb telling his fellow defendant Niazal in Pashto to follow as he leads her to a more secluded part of the park, shushing her cries for help, and then you see him put a hand over her mouth to silence those cries. The prosecution say the footage is highly distressing, and what followed was horrific. The young girl eventually escaped, and a member of the public came to help her, advising her to call the police and then waiting with her until she was safe. In a victim impact statement, the girl, who can't be identified for legal reasons, said, "The day I was raped changed me as a person. Now every time I go out, I don't feel safe." We can identify the two defendants after multiple applications to the judge to lift their anonymity, despite them both being younger than 18. The judge said reporting restrictions in this case could lead to speculation, which might see innocent people targeted. The judge also told the pair they had betrayed the interests of genuine refugees. Both defendants came to the UK as unaccompanied child asylum seekers and were staying in taxpayer-funded accommodation in Warwickshire at the time of the attack. Niazal arrived here in November last year, having fled the Taliban. He's supposedly still seeking asylum in this country, actually, intending to make a life here after his release, following his 9-year and 10-month sentence, which is to be served in youth detention and then prison when he comes of age. He pleaded guilty a day before his 17th birthday. That's the cut-off point for automatic deportation for foreign criminals, although the judge did invite the government to recommend deportation in his case. Jahanzeb arrived here in January when, during a third attempt to cross the channel by small boat, he was picked up by the Coast Guard. His birthday was set as the 1st of January after age assessments were made upon his arrival here, so he missed the boat, as it were, on avoiding automatic deportation. He was given a 10-year and 8-month sentence, and the court heard yesterday he's already been served with deportation papers, Nick.
Luke Shanahan reporting. So someone arrives here and they can't even attempt to tell us their birthday? We have to give them the birthday, the 1st of January? That seems incredible. So the elder of the two, who seems to have been the leader of the rape, will face being deported. But as Luke Shanahan just explained, because the younger of the two missed pleading guilty one day before turning 17, makes him one day too young to qualify. His barrister in court made the suggestion that would allow the younger of the rapists to make a life for himself in this country when he is eventually released. I should tell you that counsel in both cases argued that the video should not be made available, and it will not be made available to the public, and I understand that. I'd have no desire to see that. But also they argued that it shouldn't be made known that they were asylum seekers who arrived from Afghanistan on a boat. Why don't we have the right to know that? Ivon Sampson is the principal solicitor at Privatus, a firm that specialises in this, and joins me now. Commentators are already suggesting this increases the desire among some politicians, such as you Conservatives and Reform UK, to seek to leave the ECHR. In practice, how easy or otherwise would that be? Good morning.
Well, Nick, good morning, Nick. It really makes no difference in this case because even if we were to repeal the Human Rights Act, which is what puts the ECHR into effect in our laws in this country, even if we repealed it, it wouldn't help us in this case because we have no returns agreement with Afghanistan. So if that position remains the same when these gentlemen are released, I'm afraid they're going to continue to live here.
I suppose you call them gentlemen, Mr. Sampson, but do go ahead. So the judge later is confirming that she would recommend to the Home Secretary deportation, by the way, both of them. That will get nowhere then?
No, I mean, and also the automatic deportation doesn't really make a difference because the Secretary of State has the powers to deport anybody on the grounds of not conducive to public good. So even despite automatic deportation not coming into effect, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make them into calling them gentlemen. That's just the way I speak. So I apologise to your listeners.
No, that's all right.
It's a
sexual offenders or
horrendous crime,
paedophiles to me.
And really, I mean, this is the thing that.
Why should we? I don't understand, Mr. Sampson, and obviously you're a specialist in the law, and I'm very grateful for your input, sir, but why are we stuck with 2 Afghan paedophiles?
We have no returns agreements. And then, so what do you do with them? Where do you send them to? If in Afghanistan, we don't recognise the Afghanistani government, the Taliban. And since 2021, when they came back in power, there have been no returns. Now, before that, they'd actually ramped up returns to Afghanistan, they being the European Union, including the UK. But in 2015 and 2017, something like about 10,000 Afghans were returned successfully. But since the Taliban came to power...
So is it so is it your belief, then, that effectively, if you don't mind this language, we're stuck with these 2? There's nothing legally we can do.
Exactly. And there's also the principle of non-refoulement. So even if Afghans agreed to take them back, let's just say they'd take them back, if they can prove after risk assessment that their lives are in danger, we still can't send them out. So I'll give you an example. Suppose one of them turns to Christianity or decides that they're gay. There'd be grounds for resisting any attempt to take them to Afghanistan.
Did you agree, lastly, the fact that initially we were to be denied knowledge that they were asylum seekers from Afghanistan, would you support action such as that? Do you agree with the judge that we did deserve to know?
I think the judge is right, but I mean that's a political comment, and I'm really not want to do that.
All right, OK, I understand that, but I'm very grateful for your legal background. Thanks, Ivon Sampson, Principal Solicitor at the firm Privatus, that specialises in this field, 13 after 7. Let's get in and among your reactions on this. Kevin is in Basingstoke. Kevin, so we're stuck with 2 Afghan paedophiles.
Nick, every time there's a story about an asylum seeker that's raped somebody, you always report on it, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to...
I'm sorry that you don't think a 15-year-old being dragged into a bush and being forced to perform sexual acts on 2 17-year-olds who've been living in taxpayer-funded accommodation, having arrived a few months ago. I'm sorry you don't see that as a story. Do give me a lesson in news. I'm so eager.
Here is the story, but you always fade me down or talk over me.
No, I'm interested, because clearly your news knowledge is superior. Go ahead.
Over me when I phone in.
Go ahead. Why is it not a story?
It is a story, but they're all stories, but you only report on it, and it's always your only first story when it's an Afghanistan that has committed rape, isn't it? Always, without a doubt.
No, it was an Ethiopian involved in sex attacks, not rape. It was Ethiopian involved in sex attacks in Epping. It wasn't Afghans then.
No, but you only report on it when it's somebody like an Afghan, somebody's from Afghanistan. Otherwise, you just don't report on it, do you?
No, you're so wrong. Do you remember the tragic murder of Brianna J? Do you remember that? I do. Yeah, that was British people, 2 British youngsters, and we reported that extensively. So you're wrong, Kevin. Kevin, you are wrong. I've just reminded you of the extensive coverage we did of the Brianna J story to prove that you're wrong. A simple apology will do.
You don't normally do that, do you?
Just nonsense. Off you go.
To me, it seems quite simple. The anonymity, they left their country because they were fearing for their lives. That girl now fears for her life. So that when that happens, their anonymity should be removed. And they should be sent back immediately.
Fortunately, the judge agreed with you. How awful that, A, we would never have known their names because they were 17. B, we would never know their backgrounds, i.e. they'd arrived months ago, paid for by taxpayers from Afghanistan.
But why can't they send them back if they've committed a crime? If they've come here in fear for their lives, and it's a new country, and they come straight in and they abuse it, they're gone.
because we deem Afghanistan not to be a safe country, so we cannot, by our laws, deport people to an unsafe country.
And as far as that girl's concerned, she's not in a safe place either.
Oh, my
and because
goodness,
they've taken away her safety.
What a good point. It's so frustrating. As you heard from the lawyer, and he's skilled in these matters, this is his, day job, his bread and butter. There's nothing we can do. We are saddled with two...
Yeah, but sometimes the law's an ass sometimes, because it's obvious when you commit crimes in other places that you're supposed to be living to save you, you lose all your rights. Because if you're going to go into that poor girl, she must be walking and looking over her shoulder every 2 minutes.
She is, unfortunately. Antonio, thank you. Robert in St Neots, your reaction, Robert. Good morning.
Morning, Nick. How are you?
Grand, thank you. What do you make of this story? It's a horrible one, horrific when I was told yesterday.
It's disgraceful, isn't it?
It is, sir.
Well, that girl's life's ruined, isn't it?
Yes, sadly.
She will never be the same. She'll probably never look at a man the same.
Nope.
We was watching it on the TV last night. It came up on the news. And my wife, we've got no issue or agenda with people. My wife is from Punjabi parents.
Oh, right, yes.
I can't see why it is, if they're not British nationals, they're not just deported. I understand the fact that it'll be deporting them to effectively what's a war zone.
I know.
But they've come over here. We're giving them a chance. I mean, we've got to send a message.
We're paying for them to stay in... we're paying their rent. It's extraordinary. And then months later, they rape a 15-year-old.
Absolutely. I think it's beyond words, isn't it, really?
Do you think this government's tuned in to because the phones are ringing here now like you wouldn't believe? And some of them are to tell me that I'm wrong, by the way. Some of them tell me that I shouldn't be focusing on it. Why aren't I talking about all the rapes? And that's a valid point, but I think there's real anger that we are importing. In this case, we're importing Afghan rapists.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this government's a waste of space. But I think it's previous governments before that and whatever's gone on before that as well. So this isn't just a new thing, is it? This has gone on for years now. Like previous, the Conservative governments, the Blair government, everyone.
You're right. They're all culpable on this, I'm afraid.